spirits, some bogles and some booker. And what they are, well, they're sort of not exactly ghosts and they're not exactly devils, and what they are exactly is a lot of a nuisance most of the time, and quite dangerous if crossed. And sometimes they help, but more often they hinder.
Talk about that, yeah.
Well, there was a farmer who was walking around his farm just before he was due to start that year's ploughing, deciding what crops he'd sow and where. And he was walking down a field that had been to pasture for the last 10 years, because it was near the bottom of the farm where it weren't too good soil, but being turned out to pasture, the sheep and the cattle had given it a good dunging over the years, and it was ready to turn to crops. So he was walking around this field, this little triangular field, and he's passing this blasted oak struck by lightning, and out from behind the blasted oak jumps a bogey. Now the farmer knew at once it was a bogey from the shape of the eyes and the prick of the ears and the fact that it was 10 foot tall and covered in hair.
A dead giveaway.
That's a bit of a giveaway. And the bogey says, "What are you doing in my field?" And the farmer knows enough about bogies to stand his ground. He says, "What do you mean, your field? It's my field." And the bogey says, "No, it's my field." And the farmer says, "How so?" "Well," says the bogey, "I've been here for 300 years. And the farmer says, "Well, my family's been here for 700 years. And the bogey says, "No, that's just your family, it's not you." He says, "Well, I've got a bit of paper to prove it. Have you got a bit of paper to prove it?" And the bogey thinks, "No." He said, "Well, I suggest we go to the law then to decide." And the bogey thinks, and he knows the only thing that's worse than himself is a lawyer. So he decides not to go there. No, we won't do that. We'll settle this by amicable dispute." And the farmer thinks quickly. He knows the bogey can be very dangerous when angry. So he decides on a plan. He says, "All right then, how about we divide the field? We share it." And the bogey says, "All right, half for you, half for me." "All right then," says the farmer. "I'll see you here tomorrow then." And the bogey says, "Why?" "Well, if we're going to share the field, you'll have to help me with the ploughing. We've got to do half the work each if we're going to have half the benefit." And the bogey hadn't thought of that, but it's a bit late to back out now. He's shaken on it, you see. So, that next day they meet up to start the ploughing. And before they start, though, the farmer says to the bogey, "Now, let's settle this before we start. What do you want, tops or bottoms?" And the bogey says, "Tops or bottoms?" He said, "What's that mean?" And the farmer says, "Well, do you want the top half or the bottom half?" And the bogey thinks about it, and it was all the same to him, and he says, "Oh, I'll have the bottom half." "All right then," says the farmer. And they plough the field, and the farmer sows it with wheat. And they come harvest time, and the farmer gets the top half. He has a nice load of wheat to take to market. Bogey gets the bottom half. He gets the stubble. He's not best pleased about that, I can tell you. So when they meet up to do this ploughing the following season, and the farmer says, "Do you want the top half or the bottom half?" And the bogey says, "Don't catch me twice. I'm going to have the top half this time." "All right," says the farmer, and he plants turnips.
Moral of the story. Well done.
Well, said come harvest time, bogey gets a load of old turnip tops. Not much good for pig food, and not much for that either. And the farmer has a good load of turnips to take to market. So when they meet up for the third season, and the farmer says top half or bottom half, bogey is prepared. He says, "No, none of that nonsense. What's more, we're going to settle once and for all who owns this field. We're going to divide it down the side. I'll have that side, you can have that side. You're going to plant it with wheat. And come harvest time, whoever finishes their half of the field first and gets the grain in has won the entire field, plus all the grain that year." And the farmer realises the bogey has got it sorted, but he hits upon a plan. He plants it with wheat, as they said, but the night before the harvest, he goes down to the blacksmith. He gets a lot of little thin iron rods, and he sticks them upright all over the bogey's half of the field. So the next morning, it's harvest time, they meet up, and they've both got the great scythes going, and the farmer gets a good steady rhythm going, and he's going great guns, he's going down at a steady rate. And the bogey, though he's 10 times as strong as a man, he's swinging the scythe, And he's cutting right through the iron rods without even noticing they're there. But the blade of the scythe notices it all right, because it's getting blunt as a backside within a few strokes. And the bogey can't understand it. He's having to stop and whiffle waffle every 10 minutes. He's taking out the old sharpening stone and goes, well, devil hard docks in this field, he says to himself. Devil hard weeds, devil hard docks. And he can't get it. He can't get through the work. And then he realises the sun is pretty high, and he looks up and he calls out to the farmer, "What time do we stop?" And the farmer says, "Oh, noon. That's when we stop for a break and a bite." And the bogey then looks at how far the farmer's got. He's nearly at the bottom already. And he looks at the little bit he's managed to do, and he knows there's no way he can catch up in what's left of the day. And he goes, "Dang it, I've lost!" And he throws his scythe down in a fit of temper, vanishes in a puff and a bang of smoke, and he's never seen in that field or that farm from that day to this. And that is the story of the bogey's field, and I hope you liked it.
Yeah,
Very
thank you.
good. Thank you.
Well, the battery's just running out on my camera.